Wow, we are at another day in the Sage Circle Alliance's charter membership drive. This has been such a fabulous month, and today is no different than any other day so far, in that we have an amazing topic that we're going to be talking about. I'm Velan Hawkins, co-founder of Vegan Visibility Productions, a founding member of the Sage Circle Alliance, and I'm here with co-founder of the Sage Circle Alliance, Meryl Fury, who is the CIO of the SCA. I love all these acronyms.
Right?
And today, this is going to be a pretty interesting topic. Interdependence, organizational leadership, and community for health, compassion, and planetary advocacy. We know that the advocacy piece is so important, and the question always comes down to how do we get it done, right? And today we're really going to be talking about ways to get it done and ways that the SEA has been set up to create those opportunities. So, hi, Meryl. Thanks for being here today.
Well, hello, Ms. Velan, and you are so welcome. Thank you for the invitation. I almost took the day off. Almost.
Well,
But I would not miss a chance to sit and chat with my friend Velan. I would not miss that.
Well, it is always a pleasure, and we have to check ourselves sometimes when we get into these kind of conversations because they're so full and we have so much to say about them. And this is part of our invitation to become a charter member. So you will be hearing some of that from us as well, the benefits of membership, what the SEA is all about. And let's start there. What is the SEA all about, Meryl?
Wow, such a great question. Thank you. So the SCA came about because Paul Chatlin, who is, dare I say, my other half, the other co-founder, sent out what he calls an open letter. And in the open letter, he was pretty much asking for someone to work with him, some people, a group of people to collaborate. Because in his view, the healthy, vegan, whole food, plant-based lifestyle medicine movement to reverse human health issues, to show compassion and support our animal relatives, and to help stop the degradation of our planet and our ecosystems, that movement is not going nearly fast enough. And he was looking for people to come together with him to fight for those issues, fight for that cause. I responded immediately because I'm looking for the same thing. I had been looking for the same thing. And it just so happened I opened his email like almost immediately as it landed. Within 10 minutes of him sending it, I think, is when I opened it. And I called him on the phone. And that's how the SCA came about. From that, we will call that a seminal event. Paul and I just kept working. We started, that was literally a year ago. May 17th was the day that we had that fateful conversation. And from there, we started working on how can we create a collaborative effort, a little bit activist, a little bit of a support system, a little bit of a community service, a chamber of commerce, a business alliance. How can we pull all of those things together and advocate for human health, animal compassion, and planetary regeneration? So that's what we are here for. In his open letters, and I really have to give him all the credit for the reaching out to people. He spoke to entrepreneurs. Those are the people who responded. Entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and change makers. People who want to take action, people who are not just sitting around waiting for somebody else to do it. We are all people who are dedicated and passionate about this cause and this message. And most of us have been looking for a like-minded, like-mission group of fellow warriors, I'll call us, for a few years. We've been looking, where is that group of people that I can call my tribe or my group or my chosen family? And that is really what the Sage Circle Alliance is. It is a group of people who have, and we have all of that I described, from the entrepreneurial side to the human health component, the animal compassion part, and the planetary regeneration part, planetary protection. That's what it is all about. Just getting those messages out and supporting people who are in that work. And I'll add this part too, that because most of us are entrepreneurs, we want that spirit, that part of the American dream and that part of the spirit to really take flight. We want the entrepreneurial side of whole food, plant-based coaching, medical doctoring, registered nursing, digital marketing, website building, whatever it is, real estate planning and creation. We want all of that to take flight, because so much of what we see in the typical business sector is not about that. It's not about really supporting human health. It's not about animal compassion, and it's certainly not about regenerating the planet. Certainly not. So this is our niche. This is our world. These are our people.
I love it. I love it. And that's exactly one of the reasons that I joined the SCA, that I saw the potential for what this mission, not only why the mission is needed, but for what the mission can accomplish. When I think about the number of people who are obese, who are overweight, who are sick with one or more maladies, I am, my thinking is, what do we do? Because it only seems to be getting worse. And answering the question why, we go to the top three things, and that is our medical system is not a healthcare system, it is a sick care system. And then why? Because our pharmaceutical companies have the dollars and the cents from their perspective to make more dollars to keep people in this hamster wheel of sickness. And then three is the food industry has just jumped right in and made their stake in, and I'll say, being a major cause. Everything is cause and effect. And the three things that I talked about are the cause, and people are in the effect state with being sick and even recovering. It's tough sometimes to pull yourself away from any of those systems. And then when you don't understand about that, how the food impacts us, you just go deeper and deeper into the cycle. You're stuck in the cycle. And I think what I saw was a major opportunity to break the cycle. And I know that, we've been 100 years trying to do that, and it's gone at an ant's pace. It's not even a snail's pace. It's an ant's pace. And, because of that, it's been a singular ant's pace. Basically, as a collective of ants, they do things very quickly.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They can build, they can move stuff from one place to another. They make things happen. And, I was thinking the other day, and this is where the whole ants thing came from. When you look at a collective body that is doing things, and we're also talking about helping entrepreneurs to build their business. But we're talking about it in a way that it starts with the mission of impact that ultimately results in entrepreneurs being able to build their business, because if they're in that impact space, it's going to happen. It's the ultimate residual, basically. And we need to be more of that collective ant mentality, to where when we come together as a group, we can lift anything and move it. We can create anything and move it. And I go back to the example of PCRM and their Ditch Milk campaign that got milk commercials taken off of television. And to that extent, why can't we do more of that? Why hasn't more of that been done? And so I'm really looking at being a part of a collective where those possibilities can happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know one of the things that we were talking about as far as the how is the leadership piece. You know, if we're all individual leaders of our organizations, that's a singular ant momentum and mindset. When we come together as a leadership body, we've got a bigger opportunities. And, you know, even a body needs all types, right? So you need those who are going to be upfront and out facing, saying, we're here, we're doing this. And you need the ones that are standing behind them to make it look like there's a huge group of us. And then you also need the ones who are doing stuff, you know, the digital marketers or the website builders or whoever is back
behind the
there.
scenes people. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes all of us in order to do that. And that's one of the things that I believe that the Sage Circle Alliance is and is positioning to be a bigger leadership organization.
Yeah. So, you know, the little CIO on the end of my name tag there at the bottom of the screen. These are, you know, typically that would be a chief information officer or something like that. Paul and I have chosen different meanings for the acronyms. So Paul is the CEO, and that is a title I gave him, right? I want you to know. And he'll tell the story how he didn't choose that title. It was given to him. I gave it to him. The CEO for him is Chief Empathy Officer, because he is very kind, very, very dear. And in the year that he and I have worked together almost daily, most often at 7 o'clock in the morning, my time, he has rarely said no to me. You know, he's just a very dear, very kind, and not that he's a pushover. But he's willing to listen, you know, and willing to hear other points of view. It's very empathetic person, you know, very just very kind, very gentle guy. The CIO on the end of mine stands for Chief Interdependence Officer. So when we talk about our leadership style or the structure, Paul brings the very gentle, the empathetic side, right? I'm bringing the side that is about, I want to hear from every person who's in this room or who is in our membership. We want the collective benefits from more input. More input. Tell us what you're thinking. So this comes from a belief in the mastermind. That's what it comes from. The mastermind as described by Napoleon Hill. If anybody would like to go look that up or knows all about it, I encourage you to jump into that mastermind mentality, because it is like taking your ladle and dipping into this big pot of the collective conscious, the consciousness that connects us all and that we live in and breathe in. And, if we were a fish, we'd be swimming in it. Right. So that is the collective consciousness. And to have this we actively seek our members' points of view. And, if you woke up this morning with this great idea, tell us about it. Tell us about it. If you went to bed last night and you know, had a dream and it said blah, 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 tell us about it. That's what we want to hear those things. Because really, when we look at what Vila and what you commented on is this ants pace, you know, of movement, what we're looking for are breakthroughs, new ideas, transformed points of view, so that we can move this message forward and that we can stop what do we have? 650 something thousand people per year dying of heart disease. That's not new. It's been going on for years.
Over
Heart disease,
100.
that's the biggest killer for more than
Number
100.
one.
Okay, we can stop that. We figured out how to do all kinds of things. That, you know, okay, put submarines under the ocean and have people live in them for months. We've done that. We figured out how to send rockets up and break through the atmosphere, the stratosphere. We could do that. We figured out how to make penicillin. Okay, we could do that. We can figure out how to stop heart disease. That's not a hard one, really. It's not.
Well, and to your point, it's already figured out. You know, it's already figured out. What we have been subjected to is the fact that it's contradictory to what some would have us to be, do, and have. And
Right.
because of that, the knowledge that it's already figured out has been stifled and buried and
And
covered over and
yes, and had conflicting things said instead. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
hmm
yeah.
Casting
Absolutely.
that shadow of doubt. And
All the time.
it
All the time.
it's
I mean, I just wanted to bring this up. So sadly, I'm in the world of social media a lot, right? It's not, it has its blessings and its curses, right? Part of it is that looking at all these social media platforms, you see some of the strangest things. Some of it is not very pretty. This morning I woke up, and as is my habit, I start with Facebook. So I do the thing, I get on Facebook. And one of the groups that I'm connected to is called Healing Heart Disease Naturally. So I think that's an interesting thing, right? Now,
Mhm.
what's nice about that group is it is largely meat eaters. A lot of people talking about low carb, high protein, high fat, keto type diets. There was somebody had posted something on that group that I read this morning. She posted her numbers for cholesterol, which were sky high. And she said that she eats uh, mostly meat, some cheese, lots of eggs, almost no vegetables, very low carbs. I think fats, bacons, things like that. And she couldn't understand why her numbers were high. So I sent in like a comment, right? I commented, you know, and I don't want to preach to people anymore. I used to. It's not a pretty place to stand, you know, act like you're right all the time. That's not pretty. That's not respectful, actually. But I did pose the question, you know, okay, so if you've been eating this way for X number of years, which she said she had been, and your numbers keep getting worse, would you consider removing all animal products, implementing a whole food plant-based diet that's rich in complex carbohydrates? So we're not talking breads and Twinkies and candies and that mess. Decreasing your fats, would you consider? Because clearly your body doesn't need any extra cholesterol. You're making all that you need, and you don't need to supplement with your diet. This, you know, I did not get the answer from that comment, but it really made me pause. Like, okay, here's a woman who doesn't want heart disease. She's struggling. She's looking for a way. She doesn't want to take the medications. I get that too. Yet she is full bore into a way of eating that does not work for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And no one is telling her to stop. There wasn't a comment on there that told her stop eating that, except the question that I posed.
Mm-hmm.
We have such a strange, conflicting set of information,
Mm-hmm.
curious. And people are still being, you know, being bamboozled. We're being
Mm-hmm.
hoodwinked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I totally understand also, let me just say this, a whole food plant-based diet can be a challenge, right? It is, as Dr. Doug Lisle says, right? It's not for everyone. Not everybody can do it. It doesn't
Well,
work for everyone.
not everybody can create it for themselves, but I think everybody can do it.
Well,
So
so here's the thing, actually, and this is in that book, The Pleasure Trap, right? And in the presentations I've seen him give, when people start saying, oh, how do you do that? How do you eat meat? Like, I couldn't do that. His response is, it's not for everybody. It's not. That's an interesting thing, right? So then it leaves it up to the person
I
to decide,
agree. I
right?
agree. I
Right?
agree. But that does not negate that everybody could. The possibility that everybody
Everybody
can
could.
is there, but
Yeah,
the choice that everyone will is it's not for everybody because not everyone will choose this.
right. And I could also say, though, there's exceptions to every rule, right? There are people, honestly, Veland, that can't.
Wow.
They can't. There, I have, for example, I have a friend who has Crohn's disease. So bad inflammation and ulcerations in her gut whenever she gets anything with gluten. She has had so many traumas, I'll say, open wounds in her large intestine, that if she eats anything too fibrous, she is literally in pain. Oatmeal, mm-mm. Brown rice, mm-mm. Anything with gluten, clearly. I've had her over my house where I'm feeding her totally clean, right? No gluten, nothing like that. But it's the amount of fiber she can't tolerate. I don't know if that would be something where she could go on a medical water fast and
I was
help heal
just going to
that.
ask that. I
But it
was
might
just going
take
to,
some steps for some
yeah,
people to get to that point.
yeah, yeah, because as a layperson, I have to claim it. Um, what makes sense is that the human frame was built to be the human frame. And we were designed in this human frame to basically, as a body, tolerate certain things for nourishment. And it's been proven that the way that we train most things are the way that they will tolerate what they've been trained for, right?
Mm.
And you know, I go back to the whole idea around children. What happens in a child's growth years pretty much will determine what happens to them in their older years, unless, like you mentioned, there are some interventions that can occur that will shift some of the things that childhood development kind of incorporated. And water fasting being one of the best, and medically supervised, I will add,
Yes.
because you don't want to do something like that without being under the direct supervision of medical care. And there are facilities all over the country, some of the best. We know those people. So if you have any questions, that is who the Sage Circle Alliance is, the hub of information and opportunity. As a matter of fact, one of our newest charter members, talking to right now, runs a center where he actually oversees, as the medical director, medically supervised water fasting. And they do anything from a week-long program where you basically get introduced to it, to 2 weeks or 30 days or longer, depending on what your medical need is. And learning that, Meryl, shifted a lot of things for me. Hearing some of the stories of people who have undergone that kind of a treatment has really shifted some things for me too. From children to adults to morbidly obese, 600 pounds, undergoing a water fasting treatment.
Wow.
And losing quadruple your body weight to get to a body weight where you're not just functioning, you're alive, you're thriving in the body frame that you were given. And back to your point, though, you're right. It's not for everybody, because we have seen our bodies shift into what they can and cannot tolerate. And the biggest thing that we see is the bodies that can no longer tolerate the meat and dairy consumption.
Right.
And the people deciding that what they learned was that meat and dairy consumption is part of what they need to do to maintain a healthy frame, yet they cannot see that that is what their body is saying, I can't do it anymore. A
Right.
change is needed.
Right.
And that's where we're looking at educating and advocating for more education that starts in the schools, elementary schools, middle and high schools, in colleges and universities, in the medical system. We're churning out doctors, but they don't know this. This is not part of what's in front of them to learn. What is in front of them to learn is the pharmaceuticals.
Right.
If this ailment is here, this is the pharm that you use to counteract it.
Right.
But what about the root?
Sorry.
It's okay.
Girl.
We love our little people. We love our four-legged people. They have a right to express themselves as well, even though the volume might be a little loud. But, as an organization and looking at the leadership that we have, that's a co-leader type of model, and what we're looking for in the way of leaders and change makers and influencers and people who are passionate about the work that they do, becoming a part, having a say, being a part of the doing, and moving this message forward. It's time. I think on the face of the website, the tagline is the time for plant-based lifestyle is now. For health, for compassion, and the planet. It's now. We can't afford to wait any longer. We can't afford to wait any longer to help adults understand how they can help children, to help children understand how they can help themselves and participate in this movement. And the movement will take care of the animal compassion side and saving our planet.
Yeah. And even when we talk about children, so I'm watching my four-legged, who may start barking again any moment, but I'll try and silence it if she goes. As we talk about children, so often we're thinking about, as from the adult perspective, we think about health. We think about, if they're overweight, they're struggling with maybe early type 2 diabetes, which is just wild that we have children dealing with diabetes. If they're dealing with weight issues. But really, those things don't concern children on an average day. What they're more concerned about are the four-leggeds, right? They don't
Mm-hmm.
see animals hurt. They don't want to see the planet destroyed. They don't they don't want to see those kind of impacts because of our food system and our food choices. So, you know, yes, the time for life, the plant-based lifestyle is now. We don't have time to waste. We've gone and frittered away all the extra time we had, and yeah,
Indeed.
yeah, it's just it's time.
Indeed.
It's time.
Indeed. Well, Meryl, what would you say is one of the biggest um, components of interdependence?
Hold on. I just found a tick on my favorite four-legged friend.
Oh
Yeah, so I'll be right back.
no. Okay.
Carry on without me. Just one.
All right. All right. Wow. We hate that when that happens to our four-legged people. But this is the season. So take care of your people out there. And so one of my friends, Linda Middlesworth, is also a part of the Sage Circle Alliance, and she has a four-legged little one who's actually a big one. It's a pit bull, but her pit bull is a rescue and is high strung. I'll put it that way. She calls her a special needs four-legged person. And personality this one has. But when it comes down to, there are so many four-legged people out there, our four-legged friends, be it cats, dogs, or whatever, that need our help. Now is the time for them as well. And what we've determined was that when we establish ourselves in the space of um, basically recognizing how it starts with human health. When we're improving human health, it will trickle down and improve compassion for animals, because that's a part of what plant-based living does. It actually opens people up to having a deeper connection with the earth, knowing that the food that we're consuming is actually growing from the earth. And if we don't take care of it, what happens to what we have available to consume? And it's not the meat, because what science has proven is that the meat contains things that the animals eat, that the animals have been given, from antibiotics to steroids to all kinds of other stuff that
Manner of things. Yes.
And if you're eating that, and you're eating an animal who is fighting tooth and nail to not go into the slaughter pit, that energy being consumed in the flesh that then goes through its process to get to your dinner plate or lunch plate or breakfast plate. And yet you're wondering, why do I get mad all the time? Why do I get so angry so quickly? Why can't I sleep? Why is this happening or that happening? And a lot of times there is no connection consciously to the fact that these animals that we're consuming have basically infused that energy into their meat, and you're eating it. What else can you expect? And I'm all about, cutting out the middleman when it's not necessary. And if we say that meat is our source of protein, I mean, you can go to a restaurant and they'll say, well, what kind of protein would you like? Plants, thank you. No secondary sources for me, because animals eat plants in order to derive their source of protein. So if you're eating meat for protein, it's secondhand.
Right. And of course, we know too, you were talking about the energy of it. There's certainly the energetic level of consuming flesh that has been raised in stressful conditions, right? That there's an energetic part, but there's just the flat out chemical part. There's
Yeah.
the hormones that are released and the neurotransmitters that are released and the cortisol, and all of those. The stress is tremendous, and all of that is flowing through the animal's body as it should. That's what we get when we're living in stressful conditions. Humans get it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is actually a straight up chemical component that plays out in our own mentality when we eat that stuff. Something I choose not to do anymore. Thank you. And boy, am I glad.
I agree. You and me both. And I look forward to the day that more of our friends and neighbors and colleagues are receptive. They get the message. And, it's everybody's on a journey to wherever it is that they
That's
are meant to be going. And sometimes our journeys have an impact opportunity that takes us diverging onto a different path because of something having happened, whether it's a health crisis, maybe, heart disease that got you wheeled into the operating room and you had open heart surgery or didn't, or you had some other major medical event that you said, is there any alternative to this than undergoing surgery or taking all of these pills? Or in my case, it was initially just being able to be a part of a project that was an educational project where I heard all of this information. And I thought, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. Reading the books, reading the articles, and hearing these advocates from health to animal advocacy. I had always had an ear for the environmental piece and said, I'll do what I can do. So, recycling and not buying things this way or buying things that didn't have the parabens and all the other stuff in them. But I tell you what, the journey that I was on was a lot less painful than many that I know who turn to a whole food plant-based diet and lifestyle. And I'm so grateful for that. And I know you have a story, as yours goes back to your youth, where you made that decision.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that each of us will have our stories. And what we're seeing now too is the number of born plant-based babies that grow up to be people. The numbers are growing. And it's our hope too to have more of those to tell their stories, to let people know that, I've never had a piece of meat. Dairy wasn't part of what I did or do, and the benefits of that. And then, let's not forget that a lot of people who went vegan, which is compassion for all, did it for animals or the environment, yet they found that it was a challenge to be vegan only because they didn't know the benefits of a plant-based vegan lifestyle.
Right.
And so there's a huge audience for us to tap into.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at is being stronger in numbers, right? The more of us who are those professionals who are doing the work to help get the message out and having the hands-on opportunities to help people, whether it's virtual or in person, those are our people. And having the numbers to serve the general public, that's where we want to get to so that we can. We're talking about the organization and interdependence, but guess what? As a member, there are opportunities for you to be in front of the general public in a greater way than you potentially are or have right now.
Right.
If
I think that's one of the, sorry, I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's one of the benefits that people wouldn't necessarily think of, right? So now my four-legged is scratching to go outside, but I can't let her out because she found a hole in the fence earlier today and wound up in the next door neighbor's yard. So I'm just kind of watching her pace around. She's scratching at the door. Anyway, the opportunity to increase your visibility, increase your audience, increase your reach, expand your business is all part of what's available that I don't think people would necessarily think of in this type of an alliance. But we have people who are doing podcasts. We have people who are writing books and blogs and things like that. So if you were interested in going on a podcast, getting your face and voice known, you know, increasing the eyes on your brand, you can do that right in the Sage Circle Alliance. Every person, every member of the Alliance will share your events. We have a calendar where it goes on the calendar so that more people can see it. I think it's just a tremendous platform we have and that we are building and that will continue to grow. I don't see anybody else doing anything exactly like what we're doing here.
I agree, and that's the beauty of it. You know, I pick and choose the podcasts that I listen to, but I would love to pick and choose from a group of podcasts that are Sage Circle Alliance members, not only to support them, but knowing that the podcast is of interest to me, maybe I'll figure some other stuff out. You know, I'll learn some things. I'll hear a story that I can share in the context of a meeting or a presentation that I'm doing that's going to benefit my audience.
That's right.
There's so many advantages to this. But Meryl, I want to get back to this question about the components of interdependence.
Okay.
What do you see as maybe the biggest component or advantage to our moving in this organization in a framework of interdependence?
Well, I have always believed that, and there's the old saying, two heads are better than one. I have always believed that if you can magnify that, amplify that, multiply that it could be even better. Now, of course, it can get to be downright messy. If you have too many people and too many, as they say, cooks in the kitchen, right? It can get kind of messy. But I believe that there can be a powerful and honoring synergy that comes from people sharing ideas and getting, I want to say, to the creativity part of sharing those ideas, right? So in the sense of a mastermind is anywhere two people who are there for the sake of each other 100%, and they're not holding back, and they're not behind the scenes wishing ill on each other. They're really in support of each other. Then amazing things happen, unpredictable things happen. This is how what I grew up learning as the robber barons, the Carnegies and the Mellons and the DuPonts and the Rockefellers and all of those. That's how they built those empires, is by coming together with people who were there in support of what they were doing. And they would like mine them. Okay, so what should we do next? What should we try? What do you think? What do you think? Right? And those males at that point, is 100 years ago or so, came together and they supported each other's business efforts and made bazillions of dollars and sculpted our current world for better or for worse, right? So if, let's say, 10 or 20 or 30 of us got together, and we're all passionate about the same thing, and we're all looking to support each other's business growth, and we're all looking forward to and looking for ways to support animal compassion, human health, and planetary regeneration. There's no stopping that. There can be no stopping that. As long as we all stay cohesive, people are people, so you minimize the infighting. We're not allowed to do that, right? Just put that on hold and really focus on the things that are important, which are human health, animal compassion, planetary regeneration. That's it. So interdependence is another name for that same thing, in my view. It's just another name. The mastermind has the characteristic of people meet, say, once a week for a particular amount of time. It's, and they churn on particular ideas. We have that as a component in the SCA. It's called a think tank. So we take particular questions, what we call wicked questions, gnarly questions that are hard to come to a decent resolution, and we put them in the think tank group, and the think tank group churns on those, figures those out, comes up with creative solutions to tough old problems. That's an aspect of the interdependence. And we are constantly asking people for their opinion. What would you like to see it? How would you like to see it go? If you had a magic wand, what would you like to see? What would you do? What is one thing that just troubles you that we could make a difference with? That might be different for the medical professional group than it is for the digital marketing group, than it is for the author group. That could all be all very different problems or questions and solutions. That's the other thing about interdependence, right? Whatever, and to me, it's all the same thing. This is also falls in the realm of design thinking, that each problem, as a group of people work on it, will have a unique solution. And it may be different if, let's say there's 10 people over here working on a problem and a different 10 people over here working on a problem. These solutions will likely be different because the chemistry is different in the groups. The individuals in the group are different. Everybody has their own set of expertise and skills and points of view, and the baggage they come with, and the filters that they wear, the blinders they have, all of it contributes to the solution. So every solution is unique. So that's what I see as interdependence. It is the sum total of whoever's in the room that is working on whatever the issue is, coming together where the sum or the end result is greater than the sum of the parts.
That is great. And that's exciting to think about. Being a part of that type of thing is really a draw. Yeah. And our goal is to help those who are out there who are looking for something similar to know that it's here. We'd love to have you to join us and add to the numbers and really help us to make this space what it truly can be.
Right.
And we will be doing more things like this. We'll be sharing more information like this. You'll hear from more of our founding members, and you'll hear from some of our charter members, our new charter members, to tell you what it is that drew them to this community and how they potentially see themselves being involved. And, it's a lot of times people think, oh, another organization, another thing for me to do. But the beauty of being a part of the Safe Circle Alliance is that when you do what you do, you're doing what the organization is supporting, and the mission and the message of the organization. And there's so many benefits as a member. You even get a badge to put on your website to show people that you're a part of the Safe Circle Alliance. And if someone comes to you and you aren't necessarily a fit for them, who better than to refer them to someone who is a part of the Sage Circle Alliance?
Right.
And even in saying that, if you have friends who are in this mindset, in this type of influencer or workspace, refer them, bring them on board as well. If these are people that you're referring to anyway, let them be a part of Sage Circle Alliance and refer them through the Sage Circle Alliance. Not only does that give you an opportunity to say you're a part of something bigger, but it allows others to see that you're a part of something bigger and that matters, that you are not alone in what it is that you're advising them to do to improve their health, or to, even with animal advocacy, there's so many other things that can be done in that space. One of the people that we're talking to right now is the owner of a sanctuary, an animal sanctuary. And, the conversation with them is, what could being a part of this organization do for your sanctuary? If people know that you even have a lodge on property where families can come and stay for days or a week and really have some interaction with the animals, and it's in a gorgeous location that they can go out and hike and do other things to really make that person to nature connection. And so there's so many opportunities, and I'm excited to share this and to invite others to be a part of it. I say go to the website, see what's there. The future of plant-based lifestyle is now, and you can find out more when you go to the website and really look at, wait.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. There you go.
Find out
So
more
go
and talk about the levels of membership.
Yeah. So just so you know, the website is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. That's sagecirclealliance.org. And what we have is, if you go on the homepage, right, you land there at sagecirclealliance.org, you'll be on the homepage. There are a couple different places you can click. You can, become a member. You can join now. There's little buttons down the length of the page. If you click on one of those, it will take you to a place where you can sign up. It'll show you the different levels of membership. There are like a level for students who can't, you're busy affording your education. You can't afford more than that. Okay. There's a student level. There's a volunteer level for people who would rather do like a trade, right? They maybe have some great skill they could offer, and we value your skills, right? So there's for volunteers. There's another one that's for a solo entrepreneur. There's another one that's a small business, another one for a nonprofit. And each of these levels have different benefits associated with them. So you go to the join the alliance, you fill it out, you figure out which membership is the best fit for you. Like I say, it fits like an old good shirt. You put it on, right? You fill out the one that works for you, and then you're in, and you can start enjoying the benefits and meeting your colleagues and meeting other people who are up to the same things you are. You can start putting your information on the events calendar. You can start listing your podcasts and your books or your whatever you're up to. You start listing it. And please start giving us your opinions and your thoughts and your ideas about what you would imagine a world that was invested and dedicated to human health, animal compassion, and planetary regeneration. What would that look like for you? And then we get to work with you, support that vision of a world that's whole, complete, and intact without anything or anybody left out. You know, that's what the membership offers, and it is continually growing. We're continually refining it. We're continually asking our members what's important to them so that we make sure we stay relevant and, that we're making sense for the people who are the members. So, I could go on and on, but I'll give it a rest, right?
Well, and that was great. That was a great explanation. And yes, do go to the website, find out more information, make your selection of the level that best fits for you. And if you have any questions, there's a way to contact us. You'll be in direct contact with Meryl and Paul. If there's any questions that you have before pressing the button, reach out. We'd love to be in discussion with you to answer those questions. And, I have to also say we're looking for support that is beyond membership. We're looking for support in the way of sponsorships. And we've got some big things on the planning table for the upcoming year. And sponsors are going to be a part of it. The recognition that a sponsor can get not only to those of us in the resources hub, but when the membership begins to open up to the general public and we start looking at those that we can impact and inviting them to be connected with the Sage Circle Alliance, sponsors will benefit from that connection as well. So please do reach out, take a look at the website, find your place. Think about where it is that you want to actually make your claim, state your forward movement, and in the area that you're passionate about. We'd love to lock arms and move forward in one accord to make the difference that we're looking to make. And, let me just preface it too. We'd probably be remiss if we led you to believe that it could happen tomorrow. It's going to take us a minute.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. This is an old and gnarly problem we're up against, right? An old situation, and it's got its hooks dug in. So it's going to take just a little bit for us to cut it loose. Yeah.
But I can also
have no doubt we will cut it loose. No doubt.
I totally agree, because the more that people, entrepreneurs, know that this is a multi-trillion-dollar industry that we can claim a portion of, I say let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it for the benefit of others out there who need us and the work that we do. And let's do it for ourselves. We are working hard to make an impact and help people improve their lives. There's nothing like living a life of misery. And it can change depending on the resources that you have. And we all know that when you can write a check to make a difference, it makes a difference. And the trillions of dollars that are out there that are available to us to tap into, we want to tap into it.
And that you're saying trillions of dollars are within the vegan, whole food, business realm. Yeah.
Yes. And growing.
Yeah.
And it's evident just by the fact that Big Food has stepped in and started saying, oh, we've got a plant-based line. We've got a plant-based this.
We've got a McPlant burger.
Okay.
That's right.
Talk about the fact that they are trying to really take the pieces of what we provide in a different way, in a more wholesome way. It's ours. All we have to do is step up to claim it. And in that claiming, it is truly about being visible and having ourselves be seen, be heard, and making the impact. We're making it. The studies prove it. The numbers are there. The scientific proof is there. To know that Dr. Dean Ornish got his program approved to be medical, by insurance companies to be able to be reimbursed for people going through his, I think it's the reverse heart disease or the reverse diabetes program, one of those two.
Yeah,
Either one makes a huge difference
yeah,
in what we find is available to us. And
right.
his programs are all about living a whole food, plant-based diet and lifestyle, vegan diet and lifestyle.
Yeah.
So on that note, should
Yeah.
we wrap things up here?
Yes, we probably should. We probably should. I have a I have a barbecue to go to. So I have to bring I have to prepare something to bring so that we can
And
eat at the barbecue.
what are you preparing to take to the barbecue?
We are having portobello mushroom cap burgers with
No.
potato salad made with hummus instead of mayonnaise. And I'll bring a green salad, and the mushroom cap burgers come with like a basil dressing and some sun-dried tomatoes and roasted peppers. So I have to like pull all that together.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's one of the ones that my meathead husband requests. So
Okay.
yeah,
Love that. So there's a place for it all and a way for us to introduce this way of living, this way of eating.
yeah.
And I love it. Yeah. Speaking of food, man, you made me hungry now.
Uh, well, let's wrap it up, and we can go do what we got to do next.
All
Yes.
right. Well, to
Right.
our audience, thanks for watching or listening, however you're hearing us. Do us the favor of subscribing to our YouTube channel. Find us on Facebook and like the page. Leave us some comments. Let us know, did this even make sense for you? We're open to the comments. We'll respond. We will invite you to make even more comments as the days go on. You're going to see us everywhere. There's no stopping the plans that we have in place. And what's good is that they're coming in from so many different vantage points that if one stops, there's so much more. And so we're excited about what's ahead for the rest of this month in our May membership drive. And then you'll be able to see what's coming up beyond that. We'll be talking about as the days go on. So thanks for joining us. Thank you, Meryl. This has been great as usual.
Yes.
And
All
we're
right.
going to say bye for today.
Okay. Well, bye for now.